Oh, what the heck come in the mail today, Gary? It's a mysterious package from our friends Ken and Hank. It is the Kinhank Pro HDR10. Get all the stuff out of the box. Hard drive, okay. Seagate 4TB Iron Wolf Pro, okay. We have the Kinhank emulation console and a T3 wireless GameSir controller, which is a pretty slick GameSir controller. 4 terabytes of ROMs. You'd think they could have spent $10 on a little plastic case, but whatever. Whatever. Probably gonna go behind the TV and I'm never gonna see it again. What's in the box? We have, oh, mildly premium quality here. The X Pro user manual. It's rich in functions. One of the reasons I'm really excited about this is it has the RK3588S chip. And I don't know about you, but if things naturally progress, I think maybe the 3588 could be the next generic Powkitty or Anbernic mid-range family sedan style chipset for the handhelds of late 2024 into 2025. So it will be interesting to see how this performs. It's an 8-core 64-bit CPU with an ARM Mali G610 MP4 GPU. It comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigs on board, Wi-Fi 6, LAN, Bluetooth, all that jazz. That's it. Steps, hook to TV, hook to power, play. Should be easy enough. What we got in here? Oh, God. We have ourselves a hard drive cable, ourselves a very nice HDMI, 8K HDMI cable. We have a cord, and we have, well, heck, this might be a better remote than I have for my TV. That's nice. Why is it rattling? Bet the dongle's in there. Yep. Dongle. Alright, well, let's go find some batteries to get this thing set up. It's pretty slick. Pretty slick. Well, before we plug it in, let's look at the console itself. It's actually pretty slick. It has an SD card. It has 4 USB ports. It has HDMI 2.1 out, audio, power, Ethernet in, Type-C in, optical in for your audio, and then the hard drive connection. And that's about it. And it doesn't look too bad. I could see that sitting underneath my TV. This is going to be a problem. I wonder if I could stack it on top. Maybe just... It's a long enough cable I can kind of tuck it further behind the TV. But, oh boy, let's get this thing set up. Okay. Easy enough. Okay, let's turn it on. Ah, how about that? The remote itself acts like an air mouse. Can you see that? See the mouse moving? It's in response to me moving. It's almost like a Wiimote. That's pretty cool. Looks like this ships straight out the box with Pegasus. Okay. I got my volume control. I like that. I can turn the air mouse off and on. Get my controller paired while we wait. While this is loading for the first time, I will say that the price of this is a little bit over $300 on Amazon. But, you got yourself a coupon, don't take it under $300. So we're talking maybe $280, $290, depending on your coupons. Holy cow. Look at that. We have 33 Wii games. We have 106 WonderSwan. We have 93 WonderSwan Color. I will put a link to the full game list on here. 6 3DO games. We have 482 3DS games. Good lord. 324 Dreamcast games. We have 623 GameCubes. Holy crap. Is that the complete set? Is that the complete game library? Good lord. I am impressed. 264 N64 games. Only 15 regular DS games. That's kind of weird. 658 PlayStation 2. Is that the complete PlayStation 2 library? 800 PSP games. 1,800 PlayStation games? Damn near the complete set. Ooh, buddy. They got everything. 1 Switch game. Let's try to get to the menu here. We have settings, help, and quit. What are we going to do in settings? Kinhank. We have our language is American English. Theme, Kinhank. What about Pegasus Grid? So Kinhank theme is this 6x4 grid, and default Pegasus Grid is this. Hey, it's Tech Dweeb's buddy. This sucker is, looks like it's loaded for bear. I'm legitimately impressed. I mean, it's a 4 terabyte hard drive. It's ugly as sin. It needs to be kind of shoved behind the TV, but 4 terabytes worth of game. I'm really impressed with the 3DS collection, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. I mean, look how responsive everything is. This is beautiful, high-def scrape stuff. Everything is, man, you have all your video. You have 4 terabytes worth of storage, but good Lord, this is extremely polished. I could put this behind the TV and then I would never need to buy a retro console again. And I'd have a repository of all my GameCube and PlayStation 2 and under games on a hard drive just for whenever I needed them. We're going to start off with some lower end stuff just to, flesh out the video. But keep in mind, you can play anything up to GameCube and PlayStation 2 at whatever resolution you want, with whatever shader you want, and it'll work fine. Now this comes with some stuff already, and I'll show you here in a second, but this thing isn't even going to break a sweat until you get to PlayStation 2 or GameCube. For Super Nintendo, it has this sweet bezel with a little Kinhank logo. It has this crazy CRT filter on it. This is, this is pretty slick. And you have all your normal RetroArch shortcuts where you can just bounce out of RetroArch and go back to the main menu. You can also use your remote at any given time if you want to. There's a back button on there. Whee! All the stuff that's running through RetroArch, the controller works perfectly. It just works right out of the box. Super plug and play. Game Boy Advance even has a cool bezel, and it looks amazing. You're not using the whole screen, but you can always change it. Right out of the box, it's pretty good. I also can't get over how meticulously curated this ROM set is. There's no duplicates. There's no weird stuff. Everything is scraped. Everything has all the information on it. It's just, I'm not going to say flawless because there might be one rando thing in there, but it's essentially flawless. It's pretty good. It even has some translations. Now, obviously, Mother 3 hasn't come out west, but it's on here. And guess what? It's translated. You like apples? How do you like them apples? Dreamcast plays amazing on here right out of the box, as you might expect. And every Dreamcast game I've played runs really, really well. It's a system that this chipset can easily handle. Whee! And it can handle it at much higher resolutions than stock. Look at that, it's running at 1080p with nary a hitch. PS1 runs at 720p, which is probably as high as you want to take regular PlayStation. And it runs beautifully. I can't play this game beautifully, but it runs okay. And again, this thing comes with like entire game libraries. There's 1,800 PlayStation games on here. N64, even difficult to run N64 games, are already upscaled. Everything already looks great. It runs amazingly. It runs extremely smooth, and you're going to have a really good time. The only thing holding you back is going to be your own incredible lack of skill. Whee! Oh God. 20-core pileup. Now, for some of these systems that are running standalone Android apps, you're going to want to have the remote handy because you can't use your normal RetroArch controls. You got to press back and then just exit. Easy enough. Don't lose the remote because it's going to come in handy. It'll even play systems that you don't even see on these Android boxes because most of them don't have the power to run it, like Jaguar. Don't call it a comeback. This does come with Switch. I don't know if this was released like immediately after the Yuzu stuff happened, but it has one Switch game. I'm not going to play it. And I'm also not going to say you could probably go onto the hard drive and put other Switch games in there. I won't say that. And they'll probably perform decently. I won't say that. I won't say any of that. We're just going to play some GameCube. Now, GameCube is where I ran into my very first problem, and it wasn't with the emulation, because this will play at 2 or 3x across the board, and any GameCube game, even Rogue Squadron will play that. My issue was the controllers aren't set up, and you have to use the remote to go in and manually map everything. And if I use a third-party controller like this 8-bit Doe I just got for my birthday, it works fine. If I use the one that came with it, this GameSir, it's a little hinky. You can get it to work, it's just not as plug-and-play as I thought it would be. And it was a super bummer because I had this set up upstairs and me and my wife were going to play Mario Kart and we couldn't because I had to fiddle fart with the controllers, and by the time I got them all set up, she had wandered off. we're going to get right into Rogue Squadron. You can play this right out of the box. You can also go in and just, since this is an Android setup, you can just update Dolphin, and you'll probably get better performance than you will right out of the box. So look, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You got to go into the menu. Well, let's mute this first. Go into the menu, go to your settings, go to your GameCube input, go to your GameCube. I gotta pause, there's a tornado. Oops.
Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee.
Alright, we're back. Whole lot of fuss about nothing if you ask me. I didn't even get killed by the tornado. I don't know why they had to do the whole warning thing. Anyway, if you are in a tornado, make sure to go in your basement. If you are a dad, make sure to go into the backyard and look, and then go into the basement. Quiet factor 5. Even notoriously hard to run games like Rogue Squadron 2 do pretty good just with stock Dolphin out of the box. You can also install MMJR2 if you want to, but stock out of the box, surprisingly good. We're going to see how it does at native, and then we're going to bump up to 2x if we can. We'll see. We'll see. If you are going to try to update this, I'd recommend doing it from the Play Store. I don't have a ton of success grabbing stuff from the GitHub for Android builds. I don't know why. It just never seems to work out for me. But if I update from the Play Store, even in the beta mode in Play Store, it seems like it works better. I don't know what the deal is with that, but you heard it here first. Oh, and while the tornado was going on, I mapped all the controls. I couldn't film because there were sirens and my wife was all upset, but I figured I wouldn't waste time, right? I would just map the controller. You always got to be multitasking if you want to get ahead in this business. Or in any business, I guess. All about that grind. Now, this is stuttering a little bit while I'm loading all the textures, but if I reload it, it should run better, kind of like 3DS. It might look a little herky-jerky and stuttery now and again, but this is also a game that barely runs, if it runs at all, on even the most high-end Android stuff. So, oh. Oops. Just for fun, let's see what happens if we take it to 720p. The pause menu looks pretty. It might run better at 720p somehow. You know what? Now that the textures are starting to get loaded into the cache, this is actually running really well. And we're running at 2x now, OpenGL. That's, it's pretty impressive. I'm not going to say this is like 100% super smooth, but it's pretty impressive. Ah! Shut up. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit, see how 3DS plays. Oh man, they got all the Fire Emblems. Right out of the gate, this comes pre-configured to run at 2x, so you do have a little bit of wiggle room if something starts to get a little hinky, but yeah, this should all run pretty well. And if you really wanted to, you could use the remote as your finger. Huh? But I wouldn't play a lot of touchscreen games on here anyway. Even at 2x, there's very, very little discernible slowdown. Especially considering I haven't let any of the textures load. Alright, combat should be a pretty good test. Okay, pretty good. I wonder... Let's break it. Let's just break it right out of the bat. Can we go 3x? Okay. It's even handling 3x pretty well. Pretty slick. Okay, I'm mildly impressed with the 3DS performance. Let's try a different game. Yeah, 3DS on here is amazing. Heck, let's round out Nintendo with a little bit of Wii. Alright, so we're running this at 720p, and, uh-oh. It's not too bad. No, Ike. Easy money. I have all my games pretty much set to Vulkan 2x native. You can bump it up a little bit if the game's running good. You can bump it down a little bit if the game's running a little bit bad. I haven't even messed with underclocking, which you can always do to speed things up a little more. But on 2x, a lot of the games in the PlayStation 2 library will run very, very well. This is Rogue Galaxy. This is our RPG of the quarter, and it runs really, really well on here, even at 2x resolution. Okay. Got some CO2 powder and Sanchez fruit. Ah. So between this and GameCube, I don't want to play a ton and make the video 50 minutes long. But if you want in the comments, leave me your suggestions for PlayStation 2, GameCube, 3DS, anything. Maybe I'll do an advanced emulation showcase. Well, Gary, it's about that time for What Did We Learn? We learned that the Super Console X5 Pro is actually pretty legit. It's pretty legit. Not only is it a self-contained ultimate console for your TV, you just put it behind the TV, hook the remote and your controllers, and you're good to go. You can play pretty much every PlayStation 2, every GameCube game, every Wii game with varying levels of graphical expansion. But in addition to that, this is also an important look at the 3588S chipset, which could be the next mainline RK chip that goes in all your Anbernic and your POW kitties and your what have yous, much in the same way the 3566 has been fairly ubiquitous in the last year. Maybe the 3588 will take its place. In some ways, it feels like maybe a little bit better than the RG556, and then in some ways, it feels like it's a lot better. Like for certain GameCube games, like Rogue Squadron 2 at 2x resolution, it was running pretty well once I got the textures loaded, and I don't remember that happening with my 556. There's also a lot more than I can test. I could do a PlayStation 2 showcase, I could do a GameCube showcase, a Wii, 3DS, whatever you want. This is also an Android box, and it has Wi-Fi 6, so I could install Game Pass or Moonlight or any of my streaming stuff on there and further expand the capabilities of this. There are some caveats. The plug-and-play nature of it only really shows itself through RetroArch when you get into the Dolphin emulator and Aether, but not, weirdly enough, 3DS was already mapped, but for PS2 and GameCube, I had to manually set all my controllers, and if you want to do 2 controllers, it's a little bit of a hassle. It's not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. It's just I kind of plopped down and I was ready to go, and then I had to get the remote and I had to fiddle fart. That's never fun when you have like 20 minutes to play Mario Kart and you have to spend 18 minutes getting the controller set up because you can't figure it out and your wife is just glaring at you. No one likes that. No one likes that. But that's pretty much my only qualm. You may blanch a little bit at the price. I think when you factor in a pretty good quality Seagate 4TB card with everything already on there, everything already scraped, everything already curated, a very pristine and impeccable, in a lot of cases, ROM collection, coupled with this 3588 Android box with all sorts of I/O, and it comes with a controller, and it is expandable with an SD card, you got yourself, in my opinion, a pretty good value. Oh, and by the way, there'll be a coupon code in the description so you can save maybe a little bit more cash. Well, I don't want this video to go on for too long. You know, I almost got killed by a tornado halfway through the video. That's a first for me. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Be sure to leave comments saying, Zoo, I want you to play Sakura Wars. Or, Zoo, I want you to play SOCOM 2, but I want you to get a microphone so you can scream commands at your teammates as they struggle to understand you because it was made in, what, like 2003, and speech-to-text wasn't great? Or any other thing. So comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, goodbye!